my name is Candace and I am a revenue manager in healthcare, and I often share my daily thoughts, processes, workflows, and what it's like to work in my role and all the things that go with it. But today I want to talk about my experience in applying for jobs and what that has been like, and I want to talk about one job in particular, because we see all these jobs that we're qualified for, but we're not getting interviews. So then we ask, okay, what are they really looking for? I applied for an appeals manager position at an organization, and here's what the job description read. The government appeals manager serves as a centralized source for planning, supporting, coordinating, and overseeing the government claims appeal process for this organization. The government appeals manager ensures effective defense, management, and submission of government payer appeals related to inpatient and outpatient claims, including Medicare and Medicaid recovery audit contractor appeals, RAC. The qualifications: bachelor's degree in a work-related discipline or field from an accredited college or university. Registered nurse or physician preferred. Minimum of 3 years of progressively responsible and directly related work experience. I said, okay, this job description is right up my alley. I'm very interested in it. My favorite job thus far in my career was when I was a government audit analyst and worked directly with Medicare and Medicaid appeals, with the biggest portion of my job managing the RAC audits and the processes that went along with that for the organization that I worked for. Keep in mind, my degrees consist of an associate's in health information management, my bachelor and master's degree in healthcare administration, along with my RHIA certification through AHIMA and a certification from HFMA as a certified revenue cycle representative. Apparently, this company hired a recruiting agency to select the candidates. After I submitted the application for this role, a recruiter did reach out to me, and when she did, she asked if I had experience in government appeals. In my head, I'm thinking, well, did she even read my resume? On the job description, there is a list of all the duties. My resume matched about 90% of the responsibilities, just with different wording. So let me start off by saying the recruiter was not friendly on the phone at all. She stated that while I may have the qualifications, if my resume does not match the job description exactly to a T, they won't even look at it. But you're looking at it though, right? So she goes on to say that there are nurses and doctors who claim they have this experience and cannot get interviewed. She suggested I redo my resume and email it back. I did that and no response. So let's rewind and go back to the qualifications. You only want someone minimum with a bachelor's degree, but then in the same sentence, you prefer a nurse or physician. Now, I have seen job descriptions where they prefer clinical experience, specifically a nurse. To be a physician, it takes 4 years, plus 3 to 4 years in residency. How in the world do you put the qualification of a preferred physician against someone with a bachelor's degree? That doesn't make any sense at all. So again, I've stated a few times that I feel like the HIM and healthcare administration jobs are turning its focus to all clinical experience. And I'm amazed at how many physicians in my clinical area are going back to get their MBA. I definitely feel threatened in administrative roles. I have goals of becoming an executive in the C-suite in healthcare, but in my opinion, all of the C-suite positions will consist of all physicians or someone with clinical expertise. Even in my previous roles when I sat on committees, the majority of the committees consisted of physicians with a minimal representation of people like me as it relates to operations. And let me add in people like me as far as diversity goes, but that's a conversation for another day. What are healthcare organizations looking for? I'm not applying for a job that I do not feel that I'm qualified for. For example, I have seen organizations that have directors in multiple different areas within revenue cycle. So for example, you have a director of provider enrollment, a separate director for credentialing, a director for billing, a director for HIM, which includes coding as well. There's other organizations where all of that is lumped into the revenue cycle, and then you have a director over all of those areas. So it really just depends on how the organization is structured. I need to first work in roles where I can learn those other responsibilities, such as provider enrollment and credentialing, just like the role that I'm in now. However, if I do see a job that I know I'm 100% qualified for, I exceed the minimum of what they ask for, like the bachelor's degree and a certain amount of years of experience, I'm going to apply for it. Applying for jobs where you meet the qualifications and do not get a chance to interview, or applying for jobs to get your foot in the door and have the opportunity to learn, can be very frustrating, especially if you were trying to get into management. That was the hardest part for me, is getting the opportunity to get into management and then gain my experience from there. I don't even get a chance to talk to the recruiter, whether the job has hired a recruiting agency to bring in the candidates, or even someone from the HR department. I have experienced a time where I applied for a position, it was a charge master position. The hiring manager knew that I was applying for the job. I applied, I got an automatic denial from the HR system. I reached out to the hiring manager and she was highly upset because the wording that you use, these systems that use AI, artificial intelligence, to weed out candidates, it's not accurate. It's just not accurate at all. And so a learning experience for that hiring manager was, she reached out to HR and she said, send me every candidate, I'll screen them myself. So I understand why the recruiter for this role, for the manager of government appeals, suggested that I redo my resume, because if it didn't match the job description exactly, I wouldn't get an interview. And she also said that nurses and doctors have not been able to get an interview either. But the thing that bothered me with this specific role is the qualifications. You want minimum someone with a bachelor's degree, but then you prefer a physician. That's very extreme in my opinion. And I've encountered that several times. So I want to open this up for discussion, and let me know your thoughts below in the comments, and feel free to share experiences in your job search as well. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.